And guys, I just want to mention this. They're obviously on a 4-game winning streak. And just so people understand, because we talk about the teams they played recently, that winning streak includes the Cowboys, the Browns, the Jaguars, and the Giants. RC, is what we're seeing out of Lamar, is this really a return to form, or is this a guy who's beaten up on bad teams?
You know, I think Lamar is playing better, right? Lamar is getting to a point to where I believe he understands the experiment or wherever he was trying to move with his game wasn't him, the pocket passer or the guy that wanted to utilize his mind more than allowing his athleticism to get him outside the pocket and give him those options that he's the best at in the NFL. And I think he's moved back to what made him the MVP a year ago. I just don't think this team is as good. This team is more urban legend than it is actual substance, right? We've watched them beat up on some bad teams late on in the season. They've obviously played a really good game offensively against the Cleveland Browns, but we're still living on last year. We're living on what we thought the Baltimore Ravens could be coming into this season. And so now we talk about this team as being a scary playoff team based on what we believe they could be, but not necessarily seeing it all the time. And so for me, I think this team will be scary. I think when you prepare for somebody as unique as Lamar Jackson, it's a headache, but I still don't believe they are where they were last year entering the playoffs.
Yeah, and I want to ask you that question, Nick. And by the way, I don't mean to say the Browns are a bad team. I don't want people beating up on me. But, Nick, is this a better team, do you think, right now than that team we saw last year coming into the playoffs, if they make it?
Hell no. Not even close. I mean, that team last year was 14-2 and taking the league by storm. But that doesn't mean they can't win a game in the playoffs. I don't see them going to the Super Bowl or even the AFC Championship game. But I think everything that everyone said is right. I don't think anyone's lining up to play the Ravens. No one's looking forward to going after that blitz package. But I do think that one of the problems is they've been beating up on these bad teams. But one of the problems is, Graz mentioned it, is that defense is built on their secondary being able to cover, and it allows them to do all types of tricky things up front. And their secondary has been on and off healthy this season. If those guys can't be healthy, this team can't win. The end of that Cleveland game, they were playing coverages that I don't think I ever see them play, just because they couldn't trust the guys that they had out there in man coverage. They couldn't blitz the way they wanted to blitz. So I think this team is certainly not one to be kind of disrespected, but let's cool it, Smith. They're not close to that 14-2 team last year that was setting records.
Nah, it's not even close.
Yeah, but one thing I think about, Graz, when I look at this team, and I know we talk about Lamar, and I think he takes an unfair amount of the blame, but I think what we're seeing in him in these last 4 games is a guy who's really in many ways returning to form. Does that bode well for him going into the playoffs? And I always say, if they make it.
Yeah, I absolutely. Again, you're dealing with a team that definitely last year was 14-2. They believe themselves to be potentially great, right? They've been great. They know what it feels like. A month ago, they had reason to doubt themselves. But even though it's been against bad teams, you start playing the way they're playing. These guys, I'm sure, can talk this. If you start putting together wins like this and dominating people, that can only help that confidence. And if you believe you have that greatness inside of you, as the Ravens do, yeah, I think that does make you dangerous, even if you're not going in as the 1 seed this time around.
RC, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's tough. You know, I mean, you come out last year and you drop Get Rich or Die Trying, and you feel really good about yourself, and then you come give us The Massacre. It's just not the same. It's a good album, and it sells, but it doesn't win. And so I think that's where the Baltimore Ravens are right now. They're a team who remembers what they used to be, but they do not have the roster and the team that's played that way this year. And so going into these playoffs, you still go in limping, and you go in not as confident as you were last season.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.